Good morning, A-Bird Freedom Fam. So here we are, the Savage Model 10 Tactical Heavy Barrel in the MDT chassis is set up in the gun vise. And I had somebody ask me a little bit about how I'm gonna decopper and defoul the barrel in this 308. This is, of course, the 1,000-yard challenge rifle, 1,000-yard endeavor, whatever you want to call it. So that buttstock is removed, of course, after clearing the firearm, so we don't need the buttstock. But because of the MDT chassis, had to pull the buttstock in order to get the bolt out. Okay, so now she's set up in the gun vise at a downhill angle to the muzzle, and I've affixed a Ziploc bag to the muzzle end because this is where I want to catch everything that I'm going to have in there that comes out. As you can see, I do have my bore guide in there. I don't want this sweet 7.62 copper and defoul remover in the action. There's no need for it in there. I'm going to catch all my trash here. Yes, this stuff is very caustic. It is, got to make sure you're in a ventilated area. This is just going to be the highlights. We're not going to do a bunch of talking about this. If you can clean a barrel, you can pretty much do this. So, stand by. I'm going to go ahead and prep the sweets and some patches and show you how I like to do it. Okay, we're back. So what I like to do is take a plastic bag, put a little bit of sweets in there, throw my patches in, get them kind of saturated up. And then what I'll do is I'll go in and I'll pull out a patch. I'll close the bag up because I don't want to stand here breathing this stuff all day. Now, one thing that I do that's probably different than some folks is the fact that I won't worry about using a jag. I like to, in fact, do it a little bit different. I like to go in and grab me a 6.5 or a 6.5 nylon brush, and I will swirl my patch around it like so. That way I know the patch is going to stay in place. Got two of them by mistake. So, and with this being 7.62, this patch isn't going to be a big problem. I'm going to go right in my bore guide, straight down my bore guide, through my chamber, and I'm going to pass it all the way through. I like to go nice and slow. There's no need to be in a big hurry. And that patch has already come out black. I'll go ahead and bring it back. Be mindful to go ahead and not get a bunch of this all over your Cerakote. But as we see already, she's starting to pull up all that carbon and fouling. I'll go ahead and wrap a second patch. And I just wrap it nice and tight around the nylon brush. Come back to my bore guide. Or my bore guide is there to keep me from putting trash down in the trigger area. I'm going to run that one all the way through. Woo, that one looks good. I'm going to bring it back. And we're coming out pretty solid again. So I'm going to do this probably 3 or 4 more times. There's no need to have you guys sit there and watch me run this nylon brush with a patch. Stay tuned. I'll bring you in for the brush portion in a second. Okay, just like that, I've run 5 or 6 patches through. I'm not going to sit here and let this set all day. I've got a bronze 30 cal, okay? And now, when I use this brush to decopper and defoul, this is the only thing I will ever use this brush for. I do not want this brush coming in contact with a barrel that I don't intend to decopper and defoul. I'm going to go ahead and give her some good scrubs. We're getting some nice, juicy, nasty garbage out the muzzle into our bag. I'll show you that in a minute, but I'm going to go ahead and keep doing this for a few more minutes. I'll bring you back for the patching it out in the end because you have to get all that sweets out of the barrel. Imperative. Stand by. Alrighty, folks, we're back. So the first dry patch has been run down there, and as you can see, she came out pretty filthy dirty. So now I'm using a 7mm brush or a 270 brush. The reason for this is I want these patches to be nice and tight, and I'm trying to ensure that they get down into the rifling because of the fact that I don't want that sweets to stay in there. So now we got another clean patch wrapped up on our 7 mil going into our 7.62. And the cool part is that as you run it down, you'll feel it actually follow the lands and grooves, otherwise known as the rifling. And I will just literally keep doing this until I don't get anything on my patch anymore. Nothing. Because, as we know, we want to get all that decopper defouling agent out of the barrel. Now, what is the purpose of doing this? Well, for me, I'm going to take this rifle out to 1,000 yards, but I got the rifle used. I don't know exactly how the former owner treated the rifle. Obviously, I mean, there's a lot of Cerakote going on here, a lot of other stuff. But I'm just going to keep running these patches until they literally come out clean as a whistle or pristinely white. Whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter. But I don't want any of that sweet 7.62 left in the barrel. And I'll run the same patch a couple of times because of the fact that I am getting down in the lands and grooves. And we are getting far less now. I'll go ahead and open this up and get this to the camera so you can see. We are now getting far less than we did on the first one, which was far more easier. So I'm just going to go ahead and progress with that. I'm going to go ahead and finish that up. Then we'll come back in for the end of it. We'll wrap this little maintenance section up and we'll get on with it. And this is how you know when you're starting to get down to the end of it. You'll start to get just that little bit of blue haze on the patch. That's the last of the carbon and the defouling coming out. That's what we want. We don't want to have any blue on our patch when we're all done. We want the barrel clean. Just wanted to go ahead and show you guys that we're actually getting to the end. I cut this up because otherwise we'd be here for 25-30 minutes because I can go above and beyond with this. So stay tuned for the end. I'll show you the last patch and then I'll walk through exactly how I set this up so that you can do it at home and not make a mess. Okay, our patches are coming out clean. Now what I like to do is I actually like to hit up a wet patch. Just a few drops of good old CLP, break free, hoppies, whatever. I like to go ahead and do this because now I'm going to ensure that I got all of the sweets out. And by running that 7 mil brush with the patch wrapped around it, and it's so tight and driving down into the rifling, into the lands and grooves, yeah, I got a little bit of dirt, but mainly I still have my CLP. Everything is good. I'll go ahead and run one more dry patch down it. I'll go ahead and show you that, guys, that one. So with using the cleaning rod, what I do is I lay it in the corner so that I can actually twist it clockwise. And now that patch wraps right around the bristles and give it that little spin at the end. It goes right into my bore guide, straight down my barrel. And I'm going to give it a second pass. And little to nothing. And I've ensured that I got all that sweets, copper, and fouling remover out of there. Now, what I like to do is, now that I'm done, because I use this brush in conjunction with the sweets, okay? So the 270 brush is going to go back into its container. And it's going to go off to the side. My 30 cal brush is going to go back into its container. It's going to go off to the side. The nylon 6.5 that I used to apply the sweets is going to go back into its package. Go back into your home. Like so. Let's go ahead and put that 270 brush back into its package. Now these brushes will stay with the bore guide because I never want to go into a rifle that I'm not decoppering and defouling with decopper defouler all over the place on the brush possibly, and inadvertently leave that heavy ammonia carbon and fouling remover. But because I put my patches into a little bag to get them that sweets, now I just close up the bag. And because I use gloves because I didn't want the shit all over my hands, I pull it into my gloves. In the trash can it goes. Now, part of my setup on this is I use a Ziploc bag on the muzzle. I'll go ahead and show you guys that setup. And if you notice, there's my crud that came out of the muzzle right there. Now I don't have that all over my bench, so there's no way that I can contaminate another rifle with the sweets. And I only use painter's tape, and then I literally close the Ziploc around the muzzle. Now, this rifle does have a brake on it, so I went ahead and I taped up my threads for protection. I removed my brake because I don't want to move the crud from here into the brake. This is me trying to get the barrel somewhat close back to fresh. And now, she's ready to go ahead and clean up the bolt, reassemble, remount the scope, reset my ocular focus, reset my eye relief, reset my ocular focus, and get ready to start testing some 175 tipped Match King Sierras to see, can I get this rifle out to 1,000 using knowledge in Ryan Kleckner's book. This was just a quick little from the bench, what I was doing to prep this rifle. If you want to see more stuff like this, go ahead and put it in the comments. If you think I did it wrong, put that in the comments. Maybe you have a way to do it that I haven't seen, or what, but in the end, we're all skinning the same cat. Also, when I finish up, I make sure that I clean my cleaning rods. I don't want that sweets or that garbage from this rifle moving over to another rifle. With that, the next video will be 1,000-yard challenge, but it will be shooting zero and working on consistency with the ammo and getting some chronograph readings to see if that ammo in this rifle and me will make it to 1,000. Everybody stay tuned, stay safe, like, comment, subscribe. It helps the algorithm, keeps videos coming out. That's all I got.